With a massive red alert as confirmation that inflation is still heading higher, sending the baby bulls back to daycare, is this actually a confirmation of something even bigger? And will these charts become absolutely meaningless in the face of real danger? Or is there actually a silver lining behind it all? And did you see what happened right here? Give your grandma a big ol' sloppy kiss right on the lips, because you might need to ask her to move back into her house after you see this. I'm your host, Gregory Gate, and has the market just taken a turn for the worst? Or is this just the icing on the cake of the tippy top of the FUD bakery from the Fed as they try to fear everyday citizens into selling their precious Bitcoin? Or is something even bigger at play? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications to never miss these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And as well, if you're interested in any bonuses or deals, keep in mind, for the next 35 epochs, we will be distributing Ape Society tokens to everybody delegated in our pool. That's all you have to do is delegate with our ADA pool to earn regular staking rewards and as well free Ape Society tokens. And as well, instructions are popping up and they're in the description as well. But most importantly as well, today begins the World Series of Trading. More information at the end, but there is an $8 million prize pool. The first 10 signups of the link below get additional bonuses, trading discounts, fee discounts like trading, taker fee discounts, and many other things as well. And without any further ado, let's dump in. Unbelievable that I didn't make a video yesterday because basically we were waiting for today for the CPI report to be released. Early signs were basically saying if we got between like 8.2 or 8.3%, that would be pretty neutral. If we got above 8.3%, the market would probably dump. And if we got below 8.2 or 8 specifically percent, the market would probably pump. What happened? We got about 8.6%. So that is above those levels we just mentioned, and the market's dumping. So at this very second, Bitcoin has breached below 29,000 US dollars. And we were waiting for this fundamental report, or this report to be released. And it was released. It was not the number we were looking for in terms of a pump. So now we're dumping. So that explains this for the most part. But there's absolutely some much bigger news and much bigger things we're going to be looking at in these charts as well, as some very big things have just happened just moments ago. But I actually want to start off positive, and there's also some negative, but also some more positive as well. Grayscale Bitwise confident as spot Bitcoin ETF being approved soon. Remember last year it was not a question of when, but more of a question of like if we'd ever get a Bitcoin spot ETF. And there have been some massive waves over the past few weeks about this development. Bitwise's CIO Matt Hogan pointed to a progression of approval decisions by the SEC that ends in a spot Bitcoin ETF. But officials from Grayscale and Bitwise are optimistic about an ETF for Bitcoin being approved by the SEC soon. And there has been a perception in the industry that the SEC is just saying no outright. But what they're saying here is that that's not what actually is happening, and that's not what the facts show. That there's actually a progression, and that ends in a Bitcoin spot ETF, and we're a lot closer, in fact, imminently close, according to them. They're making progress, just not at the pace that many of us would like, but it's wrong to say they're just holding it up. And again, like not that long ago, it wasn't a question of when, it was a question of if. And now it's clearly a question of when, they say. So again, we've heard, I mean, if you've been following the news for the past week or two, this has been kind of a building momentum story of a Bitcoin spot ETF looking like it will come. Now, does that mean that the price is going to pump? Absolutely not. However, it will require Bitcoin to be purchased. And so that's really like the end goal of the positive part of a spot Bitcoin ETF. But Bitcoin did fall under 29,000 after an unexpected 40-year high US inflation report. Okay, this is the highest it's been in 40 years, since 1981. And this is ginormous here. And it has affected the market absolutely. So again, I want to start off by saying, and I tweeted this earlier also, something similar, is that like, I will never understand why people dump Bitcoin because inflation is high. That it doesn't make any sense, right? That's kind of like long term, that's the goal of Bitcoin, is to invest in it instead of keeping your money in inflating monopoly money. So again, it's just silly that what's happening in the short term is that inflation is going up, meaning your money is basically getting more and more worthless, and it's taking you more and more work hours and more paychecks to buy less and less things. And again, kind of like the whole reason Bitcoin is attractive to a lot of people, yet Bitcoin still dumps when the inflation goes up in the short term. Again, long term, I think the writing is on the wall long term, but it is kind of just, I think it's silly that like, I don't know. The last thing I'm doing right now is dumping Bitcoin. It's just completely bananas, but the US announced that the annual rate of unseasonably adjusted CPI in May was 8.6%. the highest since December of 1981. And Bitcoin began falling pretty much, this was released like an hour before, I believe, the stock market opened, before opening bell. And yeah, we saw everything kind of take a tumble, especially the SPX. And what's crazy about this is that the last time inflation was this high, they literally changed the methodology of CPI, which is just mind-blowing. They literally changed how it worked. So will there be something similar happen here? Will they, how are they going to get this under control? I mean, realistically, it doesn't seem like there's any plan. I believe many people have a plan of what they're doing with their money because of how horribly managed governments basically handle inflation and handle monetary policy, meaning crypto or Bitcoin. But honestly, if you watch a video from any of the people in charge, in government, in charge of monetary policy, they seem clueless. They'll just say things like, yes, we can just print unlimited money. We can just do this and that. Inflation's transitory, all of this. It's just, we'd probably be better off if literal babies were running the economy. I think that the world would be better off in terms of having a successfully functioning economy if actual baby humans ran the economy. And now before we jump into the charts, this is something that I absolutely think is important to note because I'm 100% bullish on Bitcoin. Nobody really knows how this could turn. However, this is just a topic that I think is very important. And it's much bigger than Bitcoin. And that's it absolutely encapsulates Bitcoin, but it's so important to talk about. So if global recession does happen, this was posted on the top of Reddit, that means we will see the crypto market drop, the cryptocurrency market cap drop a lot, right? Very possible if a true recession is, and a lot of people believe we're in the middle of one. I firmly do believe we probably are in the middle of a recession already. Technically, we're in a bear market according to the definition of a bear market with stocks. The stock market is in a bear market technically, and cryptocurrency is obviously as well. But people will not have money to add to crypto or stocks, or even some people won't be able to buy food if we enter a real recession or depression, something like that. And the S&P or the SPX is commonly used as a benchmark for determining the state of the economy. This matters because Bitcoin and the SPX are about, their correlation is 0.9, which is almost a perfect correlation. 1 is a perfect correlation, and -1 is the opposite, and it's a 0.9, so that's like 90%. It's basically completely correlated. They follow each other. So if the economy drops, it's very unlikely that Bitcoin will pump. It's very likely Bitcoin will also drop. But basically, if the S&P, this commenter says this, the S&P is following the same pattern as in 2008 when the financial crisis happened, but it's not just the housing market this time like it was in 2008. It's everything, they're saying. So again, I think a lot of that is, potentially hyperbole. But again, I do think that, myself and many people have been saying that it's, I think a lot of people agree that we could see the economy do something not very good very soon. But what's bigger than this is that if this is the very top comment, I think that if this is a real global recession, a cryptocurrency crash will be the last of our problems. And that's 100% the case. If what we're talking about right now actually happened, with like a real recession, a real change worldwide in terms of finally seeing the effects of all this inflation and horrible monetary policy. If it does happen, you're not going to be on crypto Twitter crying about your NFT or your altcoin going down, right? This could be much more detrimental, and it will affect people outside of crypto. It will affect everyone. And again, crypto will be the last thing to worry about. There's gonna, again, that's ultimate doomsday scenario, but again, it's still way too early to assume that, I think. But it would be silly to say that there are not some signs showing that, again, over the last couple of years, especially because of what happened back in March of 2020 and what we've seen with the monetary policy and money printing, infinite money printing for the past 2 years, it would be silly to say that that the economy as a whole and that the global markets are in a healthy place. I can't lie to myself. I think that's silly. I don't think we're in a healthy place in terms of the global markets. If there's one thing that I think people should be investing in long term, and that's exactly what I'm investing in, it's not financial advice, but if I had to choose one thing, again, for me, it would be cryptocurrency, right? Yes, I'm a massive moon boy, but I 1,000 trillion% would rather put my capital into cryptocurrency instead of having it mismanaged by the Fed. And Bitcoin specifically. When I say that, I'm not talking about like put 10% in Bitcoin, 10% ETH. I'm saying mainly I'm investing in Bitcoin for a scenario like this. And if we look at the chart here, obviously Bitcoin, it does look like it is, potentially facing a downturn. Currently, we're at 29,000. Just a few seconds ago, we were at 28.8 thousand. And again, this structure could easily go down if and mainly if two things happen. The SPX starts massively dumping, which it looks like it may, right? On this daily MACD chart, we're about to see a bearish cross. We just broke through the 50-day moving average for pizza's sake. We're below the 2150 and 200-day moving average, but we just broke below the 21 on the daily chart. On the 3-day chart as well, looks pretty bearish. Looks as though we're forming a freshly bearish momentum. And again, the weekly kind of looks very similar there. So that's very important to watch. And most importantly, what we've been talking about, the DXY, as of this news, basically started moving to the upside. So actually we're about almost a little less than 1% away from the highest we've seen the DXY in 2 decades. So, and retesting the highs that we set back at the second week of May last month. And again, is this all just a nice FUD storm to try and shake you out? I think it's very likely because, again, we have another month until we see the newest reports of CPI, again, because June isn't even over. But it'll be interesting to see if inflation continues then. And if it does, then I think we all kind of know, though, that inflation has run rampant. And again, that's why it's so silly to me that Bitcoin dumps when inflation goes up, yet Bitcoin was basically created to combat it. In the long term, that's exactly what I think it will do. But it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen by tomorrow. And in fact, it's heavily correlated to the stock market right now. Do I think that'll be the case forever? Absolutely not. And if it does stay that way forever, then Bitcoin's basically failed. So it has to if it succeeds. What's up, you guys, new to the channel? Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications so this is absolute time sensitive as well. If you are interested in any bonuses or joining our stake pool to earn free ADA and Ape Society tokens for the next 35 epochs, very big, roughly about 6 months. You can delegate with us below. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes. It stays in your wallet, so it's completely safe. If you're holding ADA, there's basically no reason not to. And as well, if you are interested in joining our team, all you have to do is sign up below. The link is pinned to the top. For the next about 2.5 weeks, you can sign up, and then trading does begin. The real competition then does begin on June 27th to the 17th, but the first 10 people that sign up to the team below get extra additional trading bonuses. But in addition to that, there are also 20% taker fee discounts. You'll get entered into a draw to win exclusive NFTs. And all the team members share 50% of the prize pool that is won. So if we actually do well in the competition, then you receive 50% of the actual prize pool earnings. So that's absolutely massive. Without any further ado, that's it for me.